Okay, so we decided not to go to turn 5. Si's conceded at this point, which is fair enough. We've got other commitments today, so we're going to be doing that. But we're just going to have a quick chat about how the game went and what we think. Certainly for me, like, this is my first game with Vampire Counts, and I must admit, on paper, I couldn't work out how they won because they just seem to have these really kind of dodgy units and like some couple of characters in there that can fight. So, but apparently, if combined together, they make a really amazing force. They're quite elegant in a way, considering they're just big blocks of infantry. I think, to be fair, I mean, it's a large portion of this game is just Si not knowing what to expect. He used to play Undead back in the day, but I think they've changed quite drastically since then.
They've changed so much they're unrecognisable.
He remembered the fear of the ethereal after I charged his steam tank with that guy. Yeah, and I think like overall my chaff units getting up in his grill straight away has sort of really messed him up. I mean, it blocked off these guys by holding up the steam tank and that. So, well, the ethereal stuff is just great, but I think that's just a case of obviously Si doesn't play against Vampire Counts that often or at all, so it's just a case of like, you know, our little meta game has shifted in this direction, so dealing with ethereal is going to become pretty easy, I think. But yeah, that was just like the perfect circumstance. The steam tank was charging towards in my direction. I happened to have an ethereal unit there, which was unaccosted. So yeah, so you know that's a lesson learned, and I'm sure it will never happen again. But not really his fault. So the other things I really like about Vampire Counts is obviously Graveguard, who are just Tomb Guard except slightly harder, which is fine with me. Quite like these guys. They don't really hurt you that much, but they're pretty tough, so they're good for just getting in the way of that. I don't think they ever actually did a wound throughout the whole game, but they certainly took it. I really like, I just really like how the army works. You know, it's customization on characters is a lot of fun, like trying to work out good combinations. I had a combo on here for like making fail fear tests, which I thought was infallible. I thought there's no way you can pass a fear test with all this stuff I've given them, but I don't think he ever failed one.
I found it right at the end.
Oh yeah, right at the end.
Took three rolls for 2 fear tests. But
yeah. The Vampire Lords, I mean, I went a bit over the top and just gave him every magic item I could squeeze in there, and he is just ridiculous. He one-shotted Kurt Hellball practically. Well, no, he does, to be fair, but it's pretty much what he did the whole game, but it was enough. So it's quite a glorious combat. So what else? The Vargoth didn't really do a lot, but he was pretty.
He was good for getting in round flanks.
Yeah, he certainly could have threatened artillery in that, couldn't he?
He is really a severe artillery threat because he's pretty tasty in close combat.
Yeah, he's shot right there in no time. Really like the Black Knights. The zombies didn't really do a lot, but then they were just getting in the way, like I saw the unit they're represented by, Skaven Slaves, are just there. Really cuts off a flank by putting a big block of zombies there. So Corpse Cult was pretty handy, giving them first strike. That was nice. So yeah, I really like the army, and I'm really had fun playing it. It's different tactics to Tomb Kings. This is a bit more fighty, and obviously I can't sort of dictate the way the game goes in the early stages by shooting off like threats and that. I just kind of have to accept the fact it's coming at me, or I'm coming at it. So I do need to rely on my combat a bit more. So it's a nice element to, like a difference to Tomb Kings, but still having some similarities. It's almost like they should be like an army put together and come up with a really, something that complements itself. I can't think why they never put them both together. Maybe it was, just because the monetary aspect of splitting them up.
I think that's quite a big decision when it comes to that. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's really fun. It's like I said, it's familiar like Tomb Kings, but a very different element to it. Sort of embraces the things that Tomb Kings can't do. So it's going to be a nice army to play alongside Tomb Kings, I think. yeah, so I really enjoyed that. I didn't think they'd do as well as they did. But then, like I said, I think it's just down to adapting tactics. I think it was a big victim to Killing Blow, which obviously hurts Knights quite badly, and limited manoeuvrability just because he's got the largest blocks. And when one ethereal unit for 45 points holds up your 250 point tank, and blocks off this unit from combat for like good 2 turns, then you're never going to win in terms of attrition rate and that. So yeah, so I think just chalk that one down to experience. I'm sure he'll be ready next time. Although it was had some really good magic phases as well, which obviously help. They heal some guys back. Although the magic's not quite as devastating as Tomb King's magic, it's not quite as, the buffs aren't really as good, but really it's just about getting your guys back, which is nice. So, but yeah, so I had fun, kicked some ass, and see if I can do it again next week. Well, actually not next week, the week after, because I'm actually in the Isle of Wight then. No relation. Okay, so let's see what Si has to say.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I wish the Undead were this good back in the 90s, because my recollection of playing Undead was just really bad units of skeletons and zombies and everything else. In fact, they were pretty terrible Undead back in the 90s. Yeah, I didn't actually know many victories with the Undead. I didn't know anyone that got victories with the Undead back then. But yeah, they're real nice now. They've got some great stuff. It's obviously the evolution of the game. Yeah, I got done out by redirectors. It just shows the power of misdirection is immense. And like Ollie said, 2 45 point units essentially holding up about 2/3 of my battle line really did me, because supported the big unit of knights going in with the Griffin Knights would have sent some bones scattering everywhere. That would have been awesome charges. And even with the Killy Vampire Lord, I think I probably would have ripped the unit to shreds just based on combat res. But unfortunately, that's the beauty of redirection, is that you, with a good redirection, you choose when and who you want to fight.
Because really, like this, that, and that never really saw combat, did they?
No, I never got any. Probably
1,000 points though.
Yeah, probably like 1/3 of my army just didn't really do anything. And obviously, when it's like that, it's just divide and conquer. And yeah, it kind of, it makes you think that you like it's almost forcing me into an army that I don't particularly want to play at the moment. In that's more needing like blocks of infantry, because against an army like this, against Tomb Kings, cavalry is more doable.
Yeah, I think it's really good against Tomb Kings.
It's sort of more kind of, but against like vampire counts, I just don't think, because the ethereal is evil. I mean, you run a 45 point spirit host into that big. There's literally 2 models in the entire army that could hurt those spirit hosts. That was Kurt Helborg with his Rune Fang and the wizard with his magic missile. And the Celestial Luminarch with its bound spell. But yeah, it's pretty harsh. I mean, if I was using Skaven, like Help It, I can upgrade it to have a Warpstone weapon. Most stuff can be upgraded to possess Warpstone weaponry. The Warp Lightning cannons are automatically count as magical anyway. So there's just more sort of flexibility in that respect. It means with Empire you've got to kind of plan for it.
At least with Empire, you do have the tools for the job.
Yeah, there certainly is always tools for the job. I mean, there's plenty I can do. I mean, it's just a matter of making sure that like I have something that's got a magic weapon or like a spell or something like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be an expensive magic weapon. It can just be a I don't know. Don't see why the BSB couldn't have put his Dawnstone in a sock and battered one to death. That would have been very nice, but yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't happening. But yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I was a bit disappointed about Kurt Helborg. He's probably about one of the most combat-y characters in the army that I can get, and yeah, he just got curb stomped. But it's fair enough. I mean,
even a Chaos Lord would probably struggle against this guy.
The amount of points spent on him, it kind of justifies 500 points, a third of the sixth of the army. You're going to want to get some bang for your buck, and he does. I
think to be fair, he's relatively unmanoeuvrable in his unit, so he's the guy you avoid really, and you just kill the rest of the army. So that was the idea, to make him so ridiculously hard that you didn't go after him for easy points, and like the rest of the army crumble.
Yeah. Because ideally, if you kill him, then there's a fair chance that you're gonna once
absolutely.
he's dead. But yeah, it's getting him down. It's gonna be tough. It's very interesting. I mean, I think in terms of the way this army is going to evolve, it will probably have to go back to having some form of hordes of infantry. I rather like the large night block. Because it really can mete out some punishment, but the trouble is, it doesn't.
I think also with Empire, you need to kind of embrace the flavour of the army, which is its diversity. Because I like the night thing, and I like the fact that the Empire army can do that. But really, it's a Bretonnian army without the tools that Bretonnians have.
Yeah.
You kind of need a bit of everything to make it work. A real kind of flexible army.
Yeah.
Because although this army's great against Tomb Kings, we now know it's not so good against Vampire Counts. So you want to meet somewhere in the middle, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to gauge what to do at the moment. But a bit of research in that, and see what
it's a new army, so you're never going to be, your army's never going to be able to deal with it straight away. It's just a case of tempering your army into something that can handle all comers, if you like.
Yeah. So I quite like the idea of some sort of flagellant, a nice flagellant horde, because I think if you win the combat against undead, and even if you're starting to lose some casualties.
Yeah, I think the most sobering thing in this game was when those ghouls died, because they died quick.
Yeah.
300 points just gone in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, I mean I know the Grave Guard are pretty tough, but yeah, they're kind of like the Tomb Guard in the Tomb King's army. They're killable. It's just like there isn't quite as many tools for having a nice magic phase. I mean, Ollie got damn lucky in that he channeled practically every magic phase we had, which basically broke my resolve in the third turn. That was pretty much when it got lost, because that third turn, that magic phase for me was hideous. I rolled, I got 11 dice, and Ollie got 8 spell dice. Coupled with a scroll, he nullified my entire magic phase. And a good magic phase on that turn, and I probably would have seen some different results. But yeah, he got the luck when he needs it, as he always bloody does. It's like probability. Scientists need to come and study probability and how it works with us, because it's crazed. It's just mad stuff. But yeah, interesting. Back to the drawing boards. Need to rethink the list. I might actually go and do some research online for once, because it's lots of things to think about. So like Ollie says, he'll be in the Isle of Wight watching Bruce Springsteen next week. So it'll be onwards for a fortnight's time. So it gives me extra time to maybe even assemble some troops.